Welcome back to Math with me, Marisa Lopez, your second grade math virtual content specialist. Think of me as your teacher's helper. In this video, you will learn how to analyze and compare data in different graphs. You will also learn how to use the data in the graphs to help you answer questions presented in word problems. Let's begin. Today, we are going to be answering this question. How can you solve word problems using data presented in a bar graph? In the previous video, we learned how to collect data by conducting a survey asking the question, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? We used a tally chart to mark the number of votes that each of the flavors of ice cream received. We also learned that the fifth line in a tally chart goes across. We can then take this data and put it in a picture graph or a bar graph. What do we do with this data after it has been collected? In the previous lesson, we used the data from the tally chart to create a picture graph about the number of books that Jose, Laura, and Linda read. When looking closely at this graph, we can answer questions about the graph, such as who read the most books? Just by looking at the graph, we can see that Jose's number of books is the most. He read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. Who read the least books? Again, by looking at the graph, I can see that Linda read the least number of books. Her name is here at the bottom, and she has 0 ovals. This means that she read no books. Now, sometimes when you are comparing data and graphs, you will get asked this question. How many more books did Jose read than Laura? These are comparison questions and sometimes can be a little tricky. First, I start by looking at the 2 people mentioned in the question, Jose and Laura. Then I think, how many more books would Laura have to read to catch up to Jose? Well, if Laura read 1, 2, 3 more books, she will catch up to Jose. This means that Jose read 3 more books than Laura. You have the same answer as me. You can give yourself a thumbs up. Good job. Analyze is a college word that means to look closely at the information or data in this bar graph. We are going to use it to answer the questions on the right. Okay, first question. How many more dimes does Andrew have than Emily? Well, to answer this, we are only looking at Andrew and Emily's bars on the bar graph, so only the top 2 bars. I am going to use the same strategy from before. I'm going to count how many empty boxes would Emily's bar need to fill in to be equal to Andrew's bar on the bar graph. So let's see. If Emily had 1, 2, 3, 4 more dimes, her bar on the bar graph would be equal to Andrew's bar. Well, how do we know how many dimes each person has? We look at the bottom. This is called the scale. It tells you the numbers. Each box on this bar graph is 1, represents 1. So where does Andrew's bar end? We follow that line all the way to the bottom. That is a total of 12. Okay. Emily's line ends at 8, which means Emily has 8. Let's write an equation for this. We know that Emily needs 4 more dimes to catch up to Andrew. So we're going to add Emily's 8 dimes plus 4 more will equal 12, the same number as Andrew's dimes. All right, now let's answer the second question. All right, let's answer the second question. For this one, we are looking at Thomas, Ava, and Emily's bars on the graph. How many fewer dimes does Thomas have than Ava and Emily? Let's see, I already know that Emily has 8 and Ava has 13 dimes. And 8 plus 13 gives us a total of 21. We cannot use the previous strategy of counting the empty boxes here. Instead, I will write a subtraction equation. Since we already know that Ava and Emily have 21 altogether, now we're trying to figure out how many more dimes they have than Thomas. So Thomas only has 6. So 21 minus 6, we don't know what that equals to yet. But 21 minus 1, I know equals 20. And 20 is a friendly number. So if I take away 5 from 20, that leaves me at 15. Wow, do you see how quickly we did that mental math? That means that Thomas has 15 less dimes than Ava and Emily put together. You learned a lot about analyzing graphs and using the data to solve word problems. Keep up the great work, mathematician. Until next time, bye bye.